can still remember when I was 10 years old, I was this chubby and overweight kid in class. And starting then, I started to put losing weight as a yearly goal to one of my to-do lists. And for the continuous several years, I've always put that on my list. And that is why today's topic is about losing weight. I don't know who else needs to hear this, considering if you haven't really searched up anything about losing weight. But losing weight ultimately comes down to creating a calorie deficit. We'll talk more about this later throughout the video, but first we'll debunk some of the most common losing weight myths in social media right now. Myth 1. Sport reducing fat. Usually when we want to start losing weight, the first thing we'll do is go on YouTube and search for a 10-minute ab workout video or a 10-minute circuit training video, etc. And usually what we see in the results are people that have lean body mass, six-pack abs, or just a great physique in general. And you'll start to think that these people do this particular workout every day to get to what they are right now. But in reality, no. Generally, it is safe to say that it is impossible to get their physique based on only doing the workouts they show in the video. I hope to break it to you, but that's just the reality it is. Our bodies unfortunately just don't work that way. We can't say that today, if we want to get a six-pack abs, we'll do ab workout. If we want to get huge biceps, we should just do arm workouts. It just doesn't work that way. Our bodies can't just reduce fat in one certain area of our body. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on the people that are making these 10-minute ab workout videos or 10-minute workout videos in general. If anything, it's actually less time consuming and it lets beginners cope to having a habit of exercising every day more easily. It's just that we have to shift the mindset a little. It's a bit misleading, but we can't expect to get abs just by doing ab workout videos. The second myth would be that cutting carbs is essential for weight loss. If anything, carbs are actually really important to us. Other than being one of the macronutrients that our human body needs, it actually fills us with energy for our daily activities. In a scientific perspective, carbs are broken down into simple sugars after they enter our body and then creating glycogen. And glycogen is either used immediately for energy for us to do things or either stored for later use. And yes, carbs do store water in our human body, which does cause us to gain water weight. But in general, everything comes down to the ultimate principle, which is creating a calorie deficit. If you're not in a calorie deficit, it doesn't matter how much carbs you're not eating or how much carbs you're limiting in your diet. It's the same. You'll still gain weight throughout. And yes, the reason why carbs is being hated so much for weight loss is because it actually does store water in our bodies, which actually creates the additional water weight for us. But if anything, in the long-term perspective, if you're limiting your carbs, you're 100% cutting carbs out of your diet, it doesn't really matter if your daily intake is still more than your daily consumption, which means that it doesn't really matter if you're eating 3,000 calories of a protein and fat-based diet instead of a balanced diet including carbs in it. As long as you're not in the calorie deficit range, you'll still end up gaining weight in the end. So cutting carbs essential for losing weight is actually a myth. A big misconception in our society is that losing weight requires us to cancel out all our favorite foods such as burgers, ice cream, chips, etc. etc. But just as I said before, losing weight actually comes down to creating a calorie deficit. So if you're counting your calories right, and you have the extra quota for calories, I don't see why there's a reason you shouldn't have your favorite ice cream before bed. It's normal to have cravings, for people to crave something sweet or something a bit more on the salty side. It ultimately comes down to making smart food choices. And if you're smart enough with your food choices, there's no reason why you can't reduce your portion sizes or just choose an alternative to your favorite foods. My take on this would be that as long as your diet is actually 80 to 90% clean, there's actually no reason for you to bid farewell to your favorite foods forever. Even for fast food, the McDonald's official website actually lists down all the macronutrients in their food and even more detailed information that you can look at in the official website and make smarter food choices based on that. What this also means is that it's actually okay to crave McDonald's once in a while and still be in that calorie deficit range. Finally, we are moving on to the part where it's calories out versus calories in. I don't know how many times I repeated this throughout the video, but the ultimate principle when it comes to weight loss is creating a calorie deficit. And if you search online, you can see some terms about energy balance, a positive energy balance, a negative energy balance. And to break it all down to the simplest term, a calorie deficit is basically when you burn more calories than the calories you consume. So basically, really what you can do to find out your calorie limit is you can just go to Google to search for a calorie calculator, or you can use fitness apps such as MyFitnessPal or MacroFitness if I'm not mistaken. And I'm just going to choose this for a demonstration. And basically all the calorie calculators would require you to put in your age, your height, your current weight, and gender and moderate, and the activity levels. This is all the basic data that's been needed. And for me, the most confusing part when I first started to count my calories is that the activity level, I really didn't know what to choose at the time. But basically, you can just choose based on your description. And if over a month or two, you find it that your weight loss is too fast or too slow, you can then tweak the activity levels here. If your weight loss is too fast, you can tweak your activity level to a more lower part. Or if your weight loss is too slow, you can choose a more active activity level. And for this settings part, it's better if you have your body fat, if you know your body fat percentage, because it is more accurate if you have that. But if you don't have it, don't worry about it too much, and you just click on the calculate. So from the results, you can see that in order to maintain weight for me, I have to my daily calorie consumption limit is 2,297, and for my weight loss is 247. You get the point by looking at this. And it even shows you the estimate of weight that you'll lose throughout per week.
This is Nick from the future. I'm stepping in cause the audio got messed up for this part. Basically, the weight kilogram per week listed here are all for reference. Since everybody has a unique metabolism rate, we all burn calories at a different rate. To simplify this is that you and I can be breathing, sitting, or sleeping for the same amount of time, but we do burn different amount of calories because our metabolism just runs differently.
And we got the daily calorie consumption limit done. We are moving on to the more tricky part, which is how much calories are there actually in what we eat. This is the phase where I normally would recommend people to start prepping their own meals and cooking themselves. Because when you cook yourself, you use the ingredients that you buy, you weigh everything out, and basically there's no wrong with the calorie count when you're preparing meals yourself, and it's a lot more healthier prepared compared to eating outside where you don't know what restaurants actually add in your food. But even though I say this, most of you are still going to eat outside. But for eating outside, the best recommendation I can give you is that you can find or you can search for the calorie contents of the food online and make a rough estimation. So for example, today I'm going to be eating a katsu curry. Then basically I'll just go on Google and search for the calorie contents in katsu curry, the macronutrients of a katsu curry dish, and use a rough estimate. But be prepared that this is not exactly precise, or there may be a big difference because the ingredients used or anything that is added vary based on what the restaurants cook. Another recommendation eating outside would be that eating food that has their calorie contents listed out, such as the McDonald's example I gave you. Nando's are also a great restaurant that lists out their macros, or you can even go to mostly healthy poke bowls restaurants. I believe that some of them do list out their macronutrients, but you have to search them online, which makes it more precise when you're counting your calories. I don't know how to put this straight, but I'm going to say this in the most direct way possible. It doesn't matter what diet you choose, it doesn't matter what supplements you use, it doesn't matter what time you eat. I don't care if you're a meat-based diet, you're a carnivore diet, or a vegan diet, or a cocaine-based diet. It doesn't matter. As long as you're in a calorie deficit and you can stay on the calorie deficit for long enough to create a large calorie deficit in the end, eventually you are going to lose weight. It doesn't really matter to what time you eat or any other factors, as long as you're on the calorie deficit path of losing weight. Now we are going to the part where I personally think that why many people don't achieve their weight loss goals. And that all comes down to chasing fast results. And everything for losing weight and failure to lose weight actually comes down to one word, in my opinion, which is impatient. Let me scale it down for you. To lose 1 kilogram of body fat, you actually have to burn 7,700 calories. And it's impossible to do it in one day, considering that the daily consumption of an average male or female adult will never reach this high of a number. So the only way to lose weight over time, to create this large calorie deficit gap, is by creating a calorie deficit day by day, every day, and accumulating the calorie deficit to a point where you eventually lose weight. The hard truth that I'm here to list is that everybody knows deep down that why they are not losing weight, yet everybody chooses to find an alternative. But the hard truth is that consistency is always the key to losing weight. That's just the hard truth, and we all have to accept it. Immediate supplements, immediate fast workout miracle plans are never going to work out in the end. What you should focus on is the slow, boring inconsistency of creating that small gap of calorie deficit day by day and eventually achieve your weight loss goals. So let me help you visualize this. Usually when we want to lose weight and we set our weight loss goals, our goals are up here and the effort yet we put in is down here. So when you see this large of a gap between the effort and the goal, this gap is what causes people to fail or succeed at losing weight. If you can overcome the gap, you succeed in achieving your weight loss goals. If you can't overcome that gap, then unfortunately, it's nearly impossible to achieve a sustainable weight loss journey. The good side of things is that it doesn't get easier. A calorie deficit is the ultimate way to losing weight. Taking one step at a day and eventually reaching your weight loss goals is the best way to achieve a sustainable weight loss goal. So to conclude my take on losing weight, basically what I'm asking you is that to stop chasing fast results and looking for a shortcut. If you are watching this video right now, I believe that you're old enough to stop believing in chasing fast results and finding shortcuts. As you know, there are actually no shortcuts in life.